Hi, my name is Brian Richards, and this is my project. The issue I've decided to tackle today is really three-pronged, multiple things that coincide often. It's homelessness, drug addiction, mental illness, and how they often coincide, and a plan that I think might help to at least mitigate this issue here in the country. First, as a veteran myself, it really hurts my heart when I think about how many of my sisters and brothers are out there on the street struggling with these very things while I'm making this video, and that so many of them will lose that fight today and every day after this. And that our country, while I love it, our leaders are so quick to send hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars overseas to help other countries kill each other. My plan for this, I understand, is going to potentially upset some people, but I'm willing to accept that. I know, number one, that we are taxed to no end. I also know that many countries need our help. Many of them have stood beside us. So we have an obligation in some ways to help these countries. But at the same time, at what cost? Walk down any street in America, in major cities and towns, and you will undoubtedly see someone struggling with these very issues. So, plans like this cost a lot of money. I know that. And you're probably going to wonder where we're going to get this money from. I believe, even though we're taxed every time we turn around, I'm surprised there's not a sleep tax. It's probably coming one day. However, currently we have millions of people that live in this country that are undocumented or in some other way are criminals. And many of these people earn money that is untapped revenue. That, in combination with recalling a lot of this money that we are currently sending to other countries to help take care of their people that are suffering, to help pay for their wars, if we were to put that money together, create a 1% national sales tax, 1%, that's a penny for every dollar we spend. And I know that there will be times that that number would add up, okay? But that national sales tax in itself would tap a revenue source and force people that have never paid a penny into the programs that they currently take advantage of to now help out. I think if we tap those revenue sources, we could afford to put an outreach center in every city and town in America. One that is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that provides access to government funded therapy, drug treatment, and housing. Now, I understand that just providing these things for free is a point of contention for a lot of people. But the facts are, is these are human beings. And a lot of them are people that we called on as a country to lay their lives on the line, to risk everything without question at the orders of the people we elect to run this country. What that means is that somebody's son, somebody's daughter went somewhere and did something that a huge percentage of us never will. On top of that, everyone that's out there on the street right now that's struggling with mental illness, with addiction, with homelessness, is somebody's son, somebody's daughter, maybe somebody's father or brother. At one point in their life, things were okay, and now they're not. And people are quick to complain. People are quick to say, oh man, this is an epidemic. This is terrible. They go so far as to call people zombies that are struggling with fentanyl addiction. But what are we doing about it? We could talk about it all day, but action takes action. And if we're not willing to do anything about it, to put our work over our words, then nothing's ever going to change. And we can't sit back and wait for some miracle to happen and all the bad things in the world just disappear. It's going to cost. But in the end, when we have less people struggling with mental health issues, less people struggling with addiction, less people that don't have a place to live, we can get more people into the workforce. We can create more jobs. We can make everything better. And in the end, our schools will get better, our education will get better, everything. So it's important to me that we start to think very hard about what I'm willing to pay and what you're willing to pay. A penny for every dollar, 1%, to help human beings that need help here on our streets, in our cities, in our towns. I also think that the fact that we're really, really, really fast to spend a whole bunch of money to help other countries kill each other might be something we need to take a long, hard look at. At what point do we start to say enough's enough and we need to help ourselves? We need to better ourselves. We need to take care of our people, the ones here, our sons and daughters, our brothers and sisters, the people that we see on the street every day asking for change. And sure, you can say that addiction is a choice, but that's easy for someone who's never struggled with it to say. Maybe at one point in their life they had a choice. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they were prescribed a medication and it took hold. And now they do whatever they can to not feel sick or to not struggle with that withdrawal symptoms. So it falls on us as a society to look at what we're willing to do to lift those people up and get them back into society and help them become productive, where they can go to work, give them something to feel proud of. Anyway, I also believe that these centers that hopefully we could get set up in these different cities and towns would have access to anyone that walks through the door that says, I want help, but also outreach programs, people that are willing to go where these folks are and say, hey, I'm here to help. What do you need? I'm not here to give you a handout. What I'm here to do is get you to a place where you can get right, where you can get the therapy that you need, where you can get drug treatment, where you can get help finding work. The problem is a lot of these places that exist today, a lot of these programs are 9 to 5. They're open and then they're closed. They're overwhelmed because they're ran by volunteers in cities and towns. Whereas if we could develop a system where some of that money goes back into these programs, builds them up, hires people, open 24/7. And they may not have to have a physical therapist there in the office, but at least access to a video conference where they can sit down and talk to somebody. Ask any veteran that's struggling with depression and PTSD. The last thing they want to do is call a 1-800 number and talk to a stranger. They want to talk to somebody that understands, maybe someone that's been there. They want to talk to somebody that can say, yeah, I know what it's like to go 0 to 1,000 miles an hour for years at a time in a blink of an eye. And then now you're expected to not have that anymore. That's not what you are anymore. It's expected to just change overnight. And when you're in the military, going to therapy, getting help, sometimes can cost you greatly. I know from personal experience. I've seen people start going to therapy, get diagnosed with something, then all of a sudden the last 10, 12, 15 years of their life that they've dedicated to the military is out the window. They end up getting medically separated. Sure, the VA gives them some money, and that's nice. That's very, very much appreciated. But the problem is the person is still struggling with whatever it is that they're struggling with. Those demons don't always hit right away. Sometimes they take years. Sometimes they creep up on you when you're in your worst moments. Sometimes it costs you your family or your job. Some folks lose their homes. COVID destroyed so many businesses. People lost their jobs, they lost everything, and they're on the street now. At what point do we say enough's enough and we're going to do what it takes, even if it costs me a penny on the dollar, to help bring these people up? Anyway, that's my plan, and I hope maybe someday that we can take advantage of our own kindness and our own hearts, look deep inside ourselves, and do something to make a difference.